Whitney Stropp has spent over 2 decades in the entertainment industry as a teacher, actress, stand-up comedian, and radio personality. Always an optimist, she lived her life believing in the power of positive outlook. But when her husband, Hunter, unexpectedly died at 46, she had to redefine what it meant to find the good in life. In the wake of this profound loss, Whitney transformed her grief into a new purpose, finding strength through humor, faith, and a healthy dose of therapeutic profanity. Now she uses her own experiences to encourage and inspire others to look at life's challenges differently. As the co-creator and co-host of the podcast, Every Widow Thing, she offers a space where trauma meets humor to explore and normalize the universal journey of grief and loss. Please enjoy my time with my friend and neighbor, Whitney. Hey, y'all. Let's go there. Hi, neighbor.
Hi, neighbor.
I can't believe it's taken us so long to do this.
I know. I'm excited to be here. Seriously. I love what you're doing and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Well, I was a little embarrassed to tell you what I was doing because you're like a pro and you're in the industry and I'm not.
Oh,
so
please.
I was
You're
like,
killing it
no.
in the industry.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah. I understand what you're saying, but no, I'm not at all an expert. No.
Okay. Well, you have me fooled along with everybody else.
I play it up. Yeah. Well, I'm an actor, so,
Yeah.
I can pretend.
Yeah. Well, that's what I want to talk about next. So I want to talk about how you describe yourself because you're so multifaceted. You've got this podcast, you've been in radio, you've been an actress.
Yeah.
I think you're a comedian as well. You're
Yes.
funny as hell.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I did stand up. I just say I'm an entertainer, professional and personal. Like I just like to make people laugh, sometimes inappropriately, but I think I'm just an entertainer. So I like to make people have fun and hopefully draw out some things. I'm a good listener, I think. I'm also a great talker. So
those things don't always go hand in hand.
They do not. So I have to really be aware of which hat I want to put on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think when you're an entertainer, you recognize that everyone has stories. So I want to hear them, but then I also like to share my perspective and the things that I've learned in my own stories. So.
And what gives you energy in your work, Whitney?
You know what? I get a buzz when I feel like I'm inspiring somebody or like when I give pep talks, I'm a great pep talker and I literally get juiced up from that. So that feeds me. Anytime I feel like I'm showing somebody their worth or making them realize that, they have so much to offer or that they're still the best is yet to come, that kind of a thing, I get really jazzed.
And how does that show up for you? Is that like one to many as a speaker or is that one-on-one just even with individuals or how does that show up for you? How do you get to boost people up?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's one-on-one, but through this podcast and actually when I did stand up as well, because that's an immediate reaction, I would get it. I would feel it. I get it a lot from the podcast now.
Yeah.
That feeds me knowing that I'm helping other people in their darkest moments.
Yeah.
That really feeds me.
Absolutely. Well, you brought it up, so I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your podcast and how it came to be.
So it's called Every Widow Thing, and it was 4 widows in this area of Austin. 3 of us live in Terrytown, in the neighborhood that I live in. And after my husband died, one of the first things that I thought to myself was like, I don't want this to be in vain. I don't want his death to be in vain. No, I had been on a spiritual journey before that. So I knew that there was meaning in everything and I just had to find it. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't sit in this deep, dark hole after I lost him and not find the meaning. So from very early on in my widowhood, I wanted to help other people, but I needed to help myself first, know. And so when I met, the way things happen, and you probably know this too, when you know someone that's going through something, you'll connect them with someone else that has been through it.
Sure.
And that's what our community here did. They really got us in touch with each other. The first person to reach out was my child's counselor in middle school.
Oh, wow.
And let me know that there was another mother who had a similar experience, lost her husband suddenly, had a child in 6th grade, and asked me if I wanted to connect with her. And I was like, absolutely. So we connected, and then other people had connected that woman to other widows. So we kind of became our own little widow grief group. There were 4 of us, and we would go out and we would talk and we would laugh, and really brought perspective to each other's experiences. And I thought, being in radio and entertainment, I was like, this is valuable.
Mm.
This is something that others could benefit from. And as a young widow with young children, you don't have a lot of groups. It's usually women in their 70s and 80s.
Oh, interesting.
And they're,
Yeah, it
through their
makes sense.
church groups or things like that. And some of us had gone to some grief groups, but we just didn't connect with, they were just in a different stage of life than we were. So, I had to talk the girls into it because they weren't as open. I'm an open book. I share everything and they don't. So that was, took a little bit of time, but it's been awesome. I mean, we've really felt like we've helped a lot of people. And it's crazy how many young widows there are out there and sadly continue to come up. So
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, we know some as well.
yeah.
So it's actually you and part of this group. So is it 2 other women?
It's so in the beginning it was 4 women, 4
Okay.
widows, and we
Okay.
were all in different stages. One of the things that I realized when I was in my early grief was like I needed to see people who were doing it the way I wanted to do it. Like, where are the people that are a year ahead of me and what are they doing? And I need to follow them.
Say more about that really quick, Whitney. I want to understand what you mean by when you say, I wanted to see people who were doing it the way I wanted to do it.
Well, just knowing I'm a very positive person.
Mm-hmm.
I had already started on this spiritual journey, like I said, where I truly believed that everything that is happening to me is truly happening for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then my husband died.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can I think that this is happening for me? How am I going to phrase this or mold this into what I've always believed, And it started in the hospital with little blessings. My husband died of sleep apnea, which
I did not know that,
is
Whitney.
it is not known that you can die from sleep apnea, but hello, you stop breathing.
Whoa.
But nobody knew that. I certainly didn't know that. My
So
husband
it was
didn't know that.
sudden.
It was completely sudden. And he didn't wear his CPAP machine because it was uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't know you could die from it. So, and he was not overweight. He was very healthy.
How
had
old
a
was he,
six-pack
Whitney?
when he died. He was 46.
Oh my gosh.
And because of his sleep apnea, you have really terrible snoring
Mm-hmm.
when you have sleep apnea. So he didn't sleep in the room with me. He slept downstairs on the couch. And the morning that he died, I heard him make a weird noise. And I thought, he must be having a bad dream. But I jumped up out of bed and I ran down there. And I didn't realize this. I thought he was having a bad dream. But basically, that was his last breath.
Oh my gosh.
And, called 911, started CPR, did all of the things. They did get him resuscitated and to the hospital, but he never woke up. So I'm in the hospital and I'm trying to navigate the way I've always lived my life, being positive and thinking of the meaning and everything. And now I've been told my husband's not going to make it. He's brain dead. He's not coming back from this. And I'm like, how am I going to handle this? And I just started thinking about all the blessings. The day before, his very last day on earth, well, no, his very last day alive and living was the day before. And we went to the beer festival all day long. And we had 3 small children. We were never together. We were running in completely different directions.
Not your typical day date.
No. We would, give a hug and a kiss by the coffee machine in the morning, talk about who was taking who, and then we were gone. And then a kiss at night. And, we just weren't getting to spend a lot of time together. And we had a whole day together. And it was weird. It was so weird. We were holding hands the whole day. We were kissing. We were saying, I love you. And this is 23 years of marriage. You don't
Wow.
typically act like, newlyweds after a certain point,
Yeah.
you got to work at it. And it just came so naturally. And I really feel like our souls kind of knew
That was it.
this is it. And so that's how it started. I started thinking, okay, I had this amazing day that I wouldn't have had any other time. Like, it was a gift, right? Well, what else were the gifts? He didn't die in a hotel room. He was at home. I heard him. And
Yeah.
so I was with him when he died. I didn't find him on the couch.
Yeah.
Cold.
One of the children didn't find him.
One of my kids didn't find him. Like, he was alive when I got to him. You know what I'm saying? And so then the blessings just kept coming. Like, he got to go to the hospital and his parents were able to come and say goodbye. His brother got to fly in and say goodbye. He was an organ donor, so he saved 4 other lives. Like, that's how my brain started. And don't get me wrong. I mean, there was a lot of crying and deep, dark moments. And some would say, I jokingly say that I have toxic positivity because you're like, oh, I'm not going to sit in this. Let me just go straight to the positive stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really important. You have to listen to all of the feelings and feel all of the feelings,
Yeah.
right? So when I started to think about finding other people that were in my position, I wanted to see the people that were finding the blessings, living life to the fullest, finding the meaning, and so that's how I came to be with this group. And it was great because there were 2 of us that were around the same timeline. We both met our husbands at 19. We were married for over 23 years, died suddenly around the same time. And then we had another girl who was 6 years in, another girl who was 8 years in. So
You could look ahead.
there was a really good, timeline of what this looks like. Yeah.
And then how long have y'all been doing the podcast now?
We're in our 3rd year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how's it going?
It's good. It's interesting because you think, oh, well, what else can we talk about? Like, I feel like we've covered it all. But then we hear from our listeners and they are asking questions that we've forgotten about because it's been so long now.
Yeah.
I'm coming up on my 8th year of Hunter's death. So that's not a 1-year grief. That's not even 2-year grief. It's very different. So it's been interesting to have to go back and remember, oh yeah, they want to hear about this. We need to talk more about this. So I'm really surprised, honestly, that it's continuing because I thought we would kind of wrap it up after, 1 year or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you find that it's not just widows and widowers that are listening now? Do you find that there are other people that this topic of grief resonates with?
Absolutely. That's the interesting thing. Like, we call ourselves Every Widow Thing, but it's really grief. It's loss.
Yeah.
That can be a divorce. That can be a job. That can be the life that you thought you were going to live and you're doing something completely different.
Yeah.
It can be a pet. It can be a ton of different things. So it really, I feel like, is a great podcast for everyone. We're for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're kind of talking about things that people don't normally talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, the truth is, grief is not something that anybody likes to share.
Yeah.
Loss isn't something that we admit to.
But we all experience it.
We
It's
all-
guaranteed.
100%.
Yeah.
So if you can make it a conversation and make it more normalized, I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Bhutan at all? Do you know much about Bhutan?
No.
So we traveled with the kids to Bhutan
Okay.
in 2018. Their claim is that they're one of the happiest places on earth.
Yes.
And I knew very little going there about the culture. And one of the things that really surprised me, Whitney, about the culture was that they contemplate death. Death is at the center of the culture.
I think that is so smart because death has taught me so much, honestly. And the very first thing that it taught me was that life is precious.
Yeah.
And it is not guaranteed. So what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
So that is that. And they take nothing for granted.
Yeah.
I've found that I'm doing that a lot with my mom, and granted, I think that happens as they get older too. You're just recognizing that there is a limited amount of time left. but I'm really like, I just want to be with her all the time. We just took this great road trip to Colorado for 10 days or whatever. And I would have never done that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, no offense, Mom, but they're annoying.
But
I'm annoying to my children, and sometimes my mom is annoying to me.
I love the honesty there. But the reality, one of the things I really like about you, and the first thing I noticed about you, is how much family is a part of your life. I mean, I think when we moved in, before we did the renovation, you were living with your mom and sister.
Yes, my mom. Well, this is another crazy blessing that happened after my husband died. My mom we had all just moved to Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Texas girl, but had lived out of the state for a long time. We had just moved back, and 3 months later, he's dead.
Oh, God.
My mom and my middle sister were living in Denver at the time. And when they found out we were moving, they decided to move too and come here. And
before Hunter passed away.
Before Hunter passed away.
Whoa, that is also.
Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom was like, can I just live with you guys for a year so I can get my bearings and figure out where I want to live and, just figure it all out? And I said, absolutely. So my mom was already living with me, knew my kids' routines, knew where everything was in the house, didn't skip a beat. When Hunter died, I had a built-in person.
Support.
Yeah. So how crazy is that?
That is super wild.
I know.
That's super wild.
It's when you sit down, I've realized it's just like anything, right? Like when you're pregnant, you see all the pregnant women all of a sudden, or when you're driving a white car, you see all the white cars. When you start looking for the blessings, you start seeing them everywhere.
Yeah.
And so when you guys moved in, my youngest sister had twin girls. And they're in the military, her husband's in the military. So they're moving every 2 years with these little babies. So instead of traveling and trying to set up house and all that with these babies, they would just come and live with me.
Wow.
For a couple of months. And so it was awesome because the little girls probably started staying with me when they were 6 months old, 5 months old, for a couple of months, and then they'd go away and then they'd come back. So my kids got to really be a part of, their cousins' lives.
Yeah.
In
almost
a way
like
that
siblings.
they wouldn't have had. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, so I think when you guys were moving in, it was in one of those time periods where my sister and her family were moving to another city. And so they were all here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it gets crazy loud over there.
But I love it. It's like a joyful.
Yeah, it is.
It's like happiness.
Good. So you don't ever hear me yelling.
No. Oh, girl. And I can't. After what we did to you from a construction standpoint, you will never hear me complain.
Trust me. Y'all were easy compared to what's going on right now.
No comment. I don't know how you do it.
Do you hear it?
Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
It's constant. I had to text them and be like, dude, can you just stop the jackhammering until like maybe 9 a.m. and then stop around 3?
Yeah, because they start super early.
Yeah. And I get it. It's hot out and they don't want to be out there, but
it's something else.
No, you guys were awesome and it looks amazing.
Oh my gosh, thank you. You're being too kind.
No, I feel bad because we've been used to not having anyone around us for so long that I know there have been some nights when my teenage son is out there with his friends and the music's blaring. And
oh, girl, I'm sure we've paid you back. I'm not worried about it one bit. Yeah, there have been times where I've been texting my son like, get back inside the house.
No,
it's midnight.
I know, hilarious.
Okay, so there are a couple directions I want to go. But before we go there, I want to talk about Hunter.
Yes.
Because I think you said something which I think is really beautiful, which was his death was not in vain.
Yeah.
And I want to take a moment to honor him. Mm-hmm. Will you tell us about Hunter?
Yes, he was the smartest man. Sorry, I'm going to get all teary. Well, first of all, who knows at 19? Like, we met at 19 and he was the guy. He was the guy. Remember the game I Never?
Yes.
Never Have I Ever?
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's trouble.
A little drinking game, a little college drinking game. It was crazy. So my freshman year, and another blessing in my life, my freshman year, I went to Baylor, which is a Texas private university in Waco. And but I was coming to Austin every weekend. And so I was like, I'm just going to transfer to UT. So the summer before my sophomore year, I transferred here to UT in Austin, and I went to a party. It was literally like a week before school was supposed to start. We go to this party. Hunter is also at the party. And this is a party that I got dragged to. I I didn't have on any makeup. I wasn't wearing a bra. Like it was like, I'd been moving all day and my friend was like, just come with me to this party. So I was like, fine. So I go to the party and I see Hunter and he's so adorable. And I'm like, crap, I don't have a bra on, you know? But we all sit down and he's like,
girl doesn't have a bra on.
No, there's not much there. So I probably didn't even notice. But we all sit down and my friend starts saying, let's play I Never. So we start playing. Well, when you have a good friend that knows all of your secrets,
they're bringing them out.
They bring them all out. And I was mortified. She would not give me a break at all. And I was just like drinking and drinking and drinking. Anyway, Hunter and I started talking. Come to find out, he was my upstairs neighbor at the apartment complex that I lived in.
That you just moved into.
That I just moved into. My ceiling was his floor.
Whoa.
So
that just gave me a chill.
I know. Isn't that crazy? So every weekend, I would have some emergency and have to go knock on their door like, I can't open my window. Can you come help me? Or do you have a deck of cards I could borrow? You know? And we started walking to class together and then that was it.
That's so sweet.
Isn't that crazy? So anyway, but Hunter, I like to call him a Renaissance man. He was smart at everything. He understood math. He played guitar and bass. He could talk politics. He could talk economics. He could talk philosophy. Like anything you wanted to know about, he had information.
So you could take him anywhere.
Could take him anywhere. And he not only was he brilliant, but he was social, which is not
they don't always
go
go
package. So he also let me be the life of the party. So I mean,
he didn't dim your light.
He did not dim my light at all. And as a matter of fact, was fine with, stepping back and letting me shine and then, doing his thing too. But like, there was nobody like him.
Yeah.
Super, super smart, super social, was good at everything, which was kind of an issue when we had children because he's like, what do you mean they're not going to be good at this? What do you mean they don't?
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm like, there are my genes in there too.
Sorry.
He's like, all my kids are going to be in honors. And I was like, And poor thing. I mean, in a way I laughed. He died before he found out just how much my genes were involved in the math area of the children. Nobody was good at math. So
that's funny.
Yeah, he probably would have gotten a little frustrated at that, but he was just brilliant and smart and kind and creative, like all of the things. On Mother's Day, every Mother's Day, I always had this dream that I would be in the Partridge Family,
you could pull it off.
Musically, yeah. And at the time I was playing the ukulele. My friend and I had picked up the ukulele and we were in a band called Better Than Bad.
Okay, I need some footage.
Oh, dude. I was not good, but it was super fun and an outlet, right? Mm-hmm. And so for Mother's Day, one of the gifts that I required of my family was Hunter played the guitar. And so I would pick a song, change the words up, and then me and the kids and Hunter would perform it as a gift for our moms. So like I would write a song based on another song, just write a parody. And then we would perform it. And it was so fun. And that guy, it was miserable for him. And he did it every year. Anytime I wanted him to write, I'd be like, I just need you to play this song, learn this song and play it while I sing so that I can send it to so-and-so. And he'd be like, okay.
That's hilarious.
Very game for anything that I whipped up. So it was good. I came from a family, my father was an alcoholic. So there was a lot of drama in my life from a very early age. And Hunter was the grounding for me.
He was like your calming force.
100%. I imagine me like up in the air, like, kind of like a balloon, just like flying around. And he's standing and holding the string.
That's funny that you say that because I say that about Jeff. I always joke that I would live on the moon and be broke if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
Because I'm like so bold.
100%. Yeah.
And he's like, maybe we should rethink that.
Yeah. No. And so he was just the perfect partner for me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And do you still feel him or communicate with him?
Yes. It's funny. So right after he died, and I tell people this, first of all, this sounds weird, but right after he died, I felt like I was at my healthiest spiritually because I dove in. Everybody gave me space. So my mom was taking care of the kids. friends were giving me space, and I was allowed to just dive into all of these books and seminars. And because when he died, I was like, okay, I know what I believe, but where is he really? Like, what's really happening?
Yeah.
And I got to dive into that. And I was very centered in, there is more than this. Everything that we're worrying about means nothing. There's something greater going on. And I like to think of it as a study abroad program. You're in a study abroad program, and everybody has different beliefs, but my belief is I had a part in choosing this for me. Right.
Yeah.
So like even Hunter's death, I imagine me and Hunter and God and the kids all as souls sitting at a round table. And I'm like, okay, and I want to learn this, and I want to learn this, and I want to learn this. And God's like, whoa, like maybe don't take so many classes. Like, let's just, and I'm like, no, I got it. I can do it. Like, bring it on, do it all. I want to do it all. And Hunter, saying, okay, I'll help you.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you.
Like, you really want to learn this?
You want to learn it? I'm going to teach you. It's like, I don't know if you ever heard this, but, when you pray for strength, you don't get strength. You get an experience that
makes
strengthens you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should stop praying the way that I pray sometimes. But I can't remember why I told you that story. Sorry, I kind of went off. But
well, I actually want to. This is interesting because you and I share this, and I don't know that we've
if I feel him.
Yeah, I don't know if you and I have spent time talking about this, but I went through a very significant spiritual awakening.
Oh, I don't think we've
in the
talked
last
about
year.
it. Oh, really?
Yeah, and to the point where I thought I was losing my mind. And
you're kidding.
I had to.
I'm right next door. Why did you not grab me?
Well, I'm kind of getting emotional here because it's back to there are no accidents. Like, I'm now realizing why we're next door to each other.
Yeah, I see the same. No coincidences. There is. I hate when people say everything happens for a reason, but I do believe you can find meaning in the things that happen. Yeah. And they actually changed. There are now there's another stage of grief, and it's meaning.
Oh, fascinating. Say more about that.
Yeah, because people, you go, by the way, the stages of grief are forever. It's not like I checked that one off. I never go back for it. Yeah,
it's not like
you're
linear.
You're going to experience them all in one day.
Yeah.
But a new stage is the stage of meaning, where you try to sit down and really find the meaning in it, and why isn't it going to be in vain? What can I do to make this death mean something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, now I remember why I was talking about this. So right after he died, I felt very spiritually grounded, and like God and I were talking 24/7, and Hunter and I were talking 24/7.
And what did that look like, Whitney?
I can hear him. I can hear his laugh. I can feel his presence. I see him rolling his eyes. I truly believe there were 2 times when Jesus didn't take the wheel, Hunter took the wheel, because I got into some accidents where it could have gone very badly, and something happened to keep me from going off that bank or for hitting that other car. And it even happened when we were on our Colorado trip. There was a car right next to us that lost control and started spinning, and he literally went directly behind, like barely missed our back bumper.
Whoa.
And I was like, thank you, Hunter, because I'm a terrible driver.
Okay, good to know. I'm driving.
Don't drive with me.
Yeah, I'm driving.
I'll walk with you anywhere. But so I was feeling him a lot, and he would come through a lot in music. Music for me and Hunter were very, it was very emotional, very meaningful. I'll tell you the story that I think is so hilarious and so Hunter. So we moved here, and my middle child is in soccer. I told Hunter after we moved to Austin, I'm like, I don't want to deal with club soccer. Like, I've got too much on my plate. I'm doing too many things. If you want Hayden to be in soccer, club soccer, which is traveling on the weekends and, crazy hours of practice, it's on you. I'm not doing it. And he said, no problem. Hunter was a soccer player. He's like, I'll do it. So then he dies 3 months later, and I'm driving my kid. It's like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm driving to go pick him up from soccer practice. And I am furious. And I am like, bitching at Hunter. I'm like, I told you I didn't want to do this. I can't believe that it's on me now. I've got so much on my plate. And I turn on the radio and One Republic Apologize is on. It's too late to apologize. It's too late to apologize. I started cracking up. I was like, well played. Okay. You're right. It is too late to apologize. But I just thought that was so hilarious. And it happens a lot. Like he talks to me through music. And the whole first year that after he'd passed, My Girl would come on all the time in the grocery store, at the gas station, in my car. And I hadn't heard that song ever unless I was like at a wedding or something, and it was coming on all the time. I move into this house, which was very emotional. It was the first house I had to buy on my own, had to move out of the house, the last place I'd lived with Hunter. And it was 4th of July. I'd been there a couple of months and I was out on my back patio and my extended family was all going to come over for a party. So I'm grilling. He was the griller. Like all these things are happening where Hunter would have been very involved. And I just had like a 4th of July playlist off Spotify. And I'm sitting there and I'm grilling the chicken and I'm surveying my land. And I thought, Hunter, you would be really proud of me. You would be really proud of me. And all of a sudden I listen and My Girl is on the Spotify playlist. It was a 4th of July playlist. Why is My Girl on there? And it was just like so validating. They're not missing anything.
Yeah.
We miss watching them see the things that are happening.
But they're all around.
But they are not missing anything at all. And it's so comforting to know that.
Yeah.
That he's with me all the time. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's so wild. I can relate to so much of what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, when you were saying in terms of kind of your spirituality, recognizing that this isn't it, that there's more to it. Everything's going to be okay. Things that we worry about don't matter. I've said those exact same phrases. Like that is the peace that it's given me.
Yeah.
I also have a friend that passed that communicates through music.
Yeah.
And I've been really doubting it as of late because I'm like, there's no way.
Never doubt it.
Well, here's the funny part because I was like, there's no way. And I just kept questioning it. And I said, you're going to have to be more specific. And I pulled my car into a parking spot and the plate on this car was his name, but stretched out with an exclamation point. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. Okay.
See,
I hear you.
It's so magical. Yeah. Like these things, these little moments that we have, they call them glimmers,
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know they had a name.
Yes. Glimmer is any just like moment where you feel joy or hope or, it's just like a little glimmer and it can be a flash. Like one day I'm walking in my yard and I notice the only flower left on the bush is in the perfect form of a heart.
Oh.
I was aware enough to go, there's love right there.
Yeah.
And that's a glimmer.
Have you read the book Signs?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I've read Signs. I've read a ton of books on the afterlife and girl.
Okay.
That'll be like 5 hours of episode.
Well, maybe we can put some of them in the show notes for anybody that wants to deep dive on this.
Yes. And one of my books that I go back to a lot is The Surrender Experiment. So do you know Michael Singer?
No.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know this.
Okay. So Michael Singer wrote a book called The Untethered Soul.
Oh, wait. Yes, I have heard of The Untethered Soul.
Okay.
In fact, somebody gifted it to me and I haven't read it yet.
Yes. So it's an amazing book. Totally, like you open it up and you just feel the light. Now, I will tell you that he talks a lot in the beginning about, I'm getting the two books confused maybe, but he talks a lot about his meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, I'm like, okay, I get it. You meditate. Like, let's move forward. But that might be in the Surrender Experiment. The Untethered Soul, it's talking about how you untether from this world and connect with this world, right? And for me, it took me like a year to actually read it and absorb it all. Like it took me a long time because it was very like intellectual. So I had to keep reading it over and over. And then I got his second book and it's called The Surrender Experiment. And that is him sharing how he lived his life and lives his life. So it's an example, which is what I need. Like don't give me the abstract, like show me, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I looked to other widows, like, okay, where are you, in your journey? Are you doing what I hope to be doing? Okay, I want to watch,
Yeah.
So this book is called The Surrender Experiment, and it's literally his life and how he let go of preferences.
Mm.
So that tortures us. Oh, it's raining today. I wish it weren't raining. Okay, well, it is raining. So are you going to whine about it and ruin your day, or are you going to just get on with it? Right?
Yeah.
Accept what is. Don't have preference on if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
And you're going to be more untethered with everything that's going on around you and more centered and here.
That's super
You got to get it. You got to read Untethered Soul.
Okay, I'm going to read it.
But for those of you who, might want a little easier route, Surrender Experiment. But it takes you a little while to get into Surrender Experiment because he does talk about his meditating for quite a while.
Okay.
I'm like, we get it. Let's move forward. But it's really interesting because even to the point where, like, when you get lost, instead of being frustrated and mad, why not assume that life is trying to take you in a different direction?
Yeah, trying to show you something.
For a reason. Yeah. That's the whole message that I want people to hear is everything is happening for you, and we torture ourselves when we think anything differently.
Yeah.
When someone cuts me off, I assume that they're racing to the hospital because someone's dying.
Right.
Or they just got terrible news. I mean, look, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I get mad, but I try not to take it personally.
Yeah.
And it just makes your life so much more enjoyable.
Totally.
When you're not worrying about, or what do they say? Suffering comes when you're living in the past or worrying about the future.
Oh, that's fascinating. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Yeah.
And I'm a super nostalgic person, and I'm always thinking, like, planning forward. So that's interesting.
Because the present is the only thing that is happening right now that you have any type of control over whatsoever. What's done is done.
Yeah.
And especially in grief, right? I could sit and drive myself insane. I wish I could have. Why didn't I make him wear a CPAP machine? Why didn't I have him get tested? Why didn't I do, or I wish you were here. He's going to miss the birth of his first grandchild. He's not going to be here for their weddings. That's torture.
Yeah.
And does it change one damn thing?
Yeah.
No.
I along those lines, Whitney, I once heard there's only now.
Yeah.
There's always only now.
The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle.
Exactly.
Do you know him?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We saw him speak recently, but it was
he talks like a robot, kind of.
He does a little bit. Or like not of this earth. Like there's something,
Yeah.
Like he's come down from another planet.
Yes, exactly.
But I would say that that made so much sense to me because really there is no past, there is no future. You're always in the now. Like it's always
and
now.
You're wasting the now. I mean, look, it's kind of like when I'm driving and I go on autopilot.
Yeah.
And then I kind of wake up and nothing looks familiar. And I think, oh no, did I miss my turn?
Yeah.
But no, I've never noticed what this looks like because I'm usually on autopilot the whole time. Like, it's just, it's a practice, an everyday practice. Like it's not easy to do.
What I'm also hearing in you, which is so amazing, was that you went almost immediately to gratitude. And I very recently, I don't want to derail us, but I just went on this epic trip. And the side effect of the trip wasn't at all what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
First of all, I was scared shitless to go. I almost canceled it like 5 times. I went to Outer Mongolia with a group of girlfriends to go horseback riding. As extravagant as that sounds, the impact that the trip had on me was actually profound gratitude for the tiny things.
Yeah.
And I didn't even anticipate it, Whitney.
Yeah.
And so it was like my first hot shower in 7 days. I was like, oh, hot water, the water pressure.
Yeah.
I had a 30-hour flight back, 30 hours worth of flights back.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to get some downtime, like to process everything.
Yeah. You're not like, oh my gosh, 30 hours. It's going to take forever. It's going to be so miserable.
Yeah. I was more like, oh, I'm going to get some downtime to process everything.
Yeah.
And I can finish reading my book. But it was all these tiny little, like the connections that we made with the staff, the fact that we somehow managed to book the last week. So we were the only ones there. And we shut it down with the staff and got really close to them. The fact that we're going to see them again, we're going to go to their other center. It's just like the fact that I got adopted by these women. Like, how did I get so lucky? And it was just like, it was the fact that Jeff held down the fort and kept an eye on my parents, and that my kids are both happy right now. So I felt like I could go. And it was just like, But it was all these moments of gratitude. So, what I'm also hearing in what you're saying, and this is probably coming full circle back to Bhutan, is that in contemplating death every day, there's a portion of that which is gratitude for what we get to live.
And they're not, I mean, I wasn't there obviously, and I don't know much about it, but I would assume that they aren't fearing death.
No.
It's
No,
not,
they
it's
embrace
not
it.
like they're in fear all day
No.
about death. They know it's inevitable. It's just, I mean, look, to me, it's another transition, just like birth. But again, I know not everybody thinks that way, but what a great way to live, just knowing that you're not here for very long.
Yeah.
Like the study abroad program, you know, when you go on a study abroad program, when your child goes, I didn't get to go, but my kid's going to get to go. And my message is go, do
Experience
everything,
it.
enjoy it, take in every moment.
Yeah.
Because you'll be home faster than you realize.
Oh my gosh, I love the notion of the fact that this life is our study abroad program.
Yeah.
That we're just here for a finite moment.
Yes.
And we have to embrace it.
Yes. And I love that the way that I imagine it is beforehand, we chose some of the classes we were going to take. And sometimes we were like, this is a really hard professor, but you know what? The credit is going to be worth it. So I'm going to take it. Oh, my friends are all doing this, so I'm going to take this course.
I love this analogy.
And it just makes me feel, because so much is out of our control. And I mean, everybody feels that right now. The way that everything is going in the world is so heavy.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is out of our control. So what makes me, a control freak, feel a little bit better is feeling like before we came here, decisions were made.
Yeah.
There were goals.
Yeah.
And just like on a study abroad program, things can get derailed. You might fail that class.
Yeah.
Or, wind up in jail for 24 hours or whatever. Hunter or Hayden, don't do that.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, like, what an amazing adventure and journey. And I don't know, I just wish everybody would see it a little bit more like that. And that also takes the personal out of it a little bit. And you can see other people's opinions and you can hear people out because oh, they're in this class with me and they're teaching me something.
Totally.
If you look at everything as a teacher, anyway, I sound very wise. I don't do this every day. Like I'm trying to practice what I preach, but it's hard to be aware 24/7.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
Well, you're giving us a gift in this, Whitney. I don't feel like it's coming across as preachy at all.
Okay, good.
And I also want to ask you about, and tell me if this is okay.
Yeah.
But hearing you talk about this process after Hunter's death.
Yeah.
There's so much like grace and strength in it. How did you support your children in it? Or could you even?
Okay. So first of all, I didn't want to act like nothing was happening. I didn't want to, I talk about Hunter every day in some way. It doesn't come across as like I need help or anything. It's just if a memory comes up or if a song comes on the radio or something, I acknowledge it, right? And so from the beginning with the kids, I acknowledged this is hard. We are struggling. We're a family. We're still a family, and I didn't hide my grief. I did some. I mean, I didn't want them to see me totally falling apart. So there were a lot of crying in the closet moments. But I also wanted to show them how to grieve, right? So I would talk to them. It's so funny. So yesterday, I decided to clean out my closet, which was a bad idea. But anyway, I started to clean out my closet.
So she pulled everything out, but it's not back in.
Exactly. I pull everything out. And then what happens is I start looking at things and I'm like, oh, so I have a box because Hunter and I met at 19 in the, early 90s. We wrote letters because when we were in school, we were together, but on the summers we were apart. And then I graduated a little bit earlier than him because he was a double major. So we have a lot of letters back and forth. Well, they were in my closet. So what did I do? Instead of reading them, I started reading them. And I found these 3 cards and I had forgotten that I had put them somewhere. I didn't realize that I'd had them. But the first Father's Day, so Hunter died in October. So, Father's Day, it was almost a year. And I made the kids write him a Father's Day card. He's dead. But I said, I know your dad is dead, but he's still here. He's with us. I want you to feel him. I really want us to acknowledge him. So here's a card for each of you, and you need to write something, to him. And then later when I thought about it, I was like, that was insane, right? Like when I thought about it later, I thought it was. I was like, what a crazy person. I did some crazy things. Hunter had his wallet in his office, and he had just gone to the ATM or something. And so for the longest time, if the kids asked for money, I would say, go get it from your dad. Like kind of weird. A little odd. And then sadly,
I still get it.
I would get more money and put it in there. Like I would refill it just because I wanted him to be in their lives still.
Yeah.
So I was doing some weird things. So I made them write these cards. Well, I had never read them. And yesterday I was like, what's this? Because I didn't know.
Oh, Whitney.
And it was their cards to their dad. And I didn't fuck them up at all. Like it was so good. I got to read what they wrote. I'm sure they won't mind 8 years later, but it was so great, the things that they wrote. And it made me realize that wasn't weird at all. Like that was healing for them and helpful for them. So, we talk about Hunter all the time. His parents were living in New Mexico when he died. They moved to Georgetown, which is 45 minutes away from us. We see them all the time. And that is a part of Hunter that I can give my kids, But ironically, Hunter's father lost his dad when he was 12, which was the age of one of my boys when Hunter died. So they had a person in their life that lost a father around the same time. And he is an amazing human being, has an amazing marriage, had an amazing career, So that was helpful. And it just brought Hunter in. So I guess, 3 hours later after you asked the question, the way that I helped the kids was I just constantly talked to them about what's going on and, what's natural, what's normal. How are you feeling here? It's okay if you don't want to talk. This is how I'm feeling. I brought in signs right away. That's your dad. They probably thought I was crazy, but now they acknowledge it.
I was about to say, do they get signs and tell you about it?
Well, even in that card, one of my sons who is kind of the most like Hunter was very science oriented. He grew up Episcopalian, but he wasn't as spiritually active as I was. Just, questions things and wants, just scientific brain. And his son is like that. One of his sons is like that. And in his card that he wrote to his dad, it says, I feel you everywhere. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's such a great, gift to know that what you're feeling or the signs that you're receiving are real.
Yeah.
Never doubt. If someone pops into your mind, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Whether they're dead or alive. So never doubt it.
Did you tell the kids you came across the cards?
No, this all just happened yesterday. They're on college. They don't talk to me much.
I'm with you, sister. But there's a part of me that feels like they should see them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a balance. I don't want to overstep, but I definitely will tell them, I found your cards. I hope you don't mind. I did read them if you want them. My daughter would probably be like, yeah, I want to read mine. The boys will probably be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
It just depends.
Yeah.
But I feel like I tried to be an example of how to grieve, at least in an open way.
Yeah.
And we never stopped talking about him. My father-in-law, when his dad died, they never talked about him again. Back then people didn't talk about their loss or their grief.
Yeah.
And he's totally great, but that's hurtful.
Totally. I have a friend that works in grief, and she once told me, I lost a coworker suddenly. And the first thing she did was say his name, Wally. The first thing she did is she said, I know how close you and Wally were. And she said, and I was asking her how to support his family. And she said, never stop saying his name,
So true.
and always talk about it.
Yes, because you're not, I think sometimes people think, oh, we're going to remind them that he's dead. I know he's dead.
Yeah.
Not going to I'm not going to be totally jarred. Like, what?
Yeah.
What it does is remind us that he lived and made an impression, and people outside of his immediate family remember him. Some of the most amazing things, look, we got meals for days, for weeks, honestly. And that was amazing. But what meant the most were people that took the time to write memories down.
Oh gosh.
And send it to us. And, it's just it's so valuable, especially when you have young children. I mean, and, good or bad, it happened for a reason. And I do think it was a blessing, but we were living in California for 12 years. Those are the memories that my kids have with their dad. When we moved here, there's no memory of him really here. And then we moved out of the only house that he lived in. So they need a little bit of jarring, they need them to be reminded. Yeah. They don't remember. So when people take the time to share a story, and that's why I love being with his parents, because every time we get together, they're sharing a story based on where my children are in their own lives, Or I remember when Hunter was in college and blah, 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 or I remember the first time he got caught drinking, blah, 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 and so it makes their dad very relatable.
Yeah. And he lives on.
Important. He lives on. And what a gift. I mean, to give to the people that are still here. So yeah, absolutely. That's the greatest gift, I think. I could definitely give the meals. Those were important, but the memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to take us in a bit of a different direction.
Okay.
Okay. So you said it, and you tell me if this is not okay to talk about.
Okay.
You said you're an open book.
I am. I can't imagine me saying no.
How does a woman that is the child of an alcoholic have such positivity and optimism?
So glad you asked. Okay. I would like to thank Oprah for the incredible example she's been in my life. So, but honestly, I read this book, Oprah. I've read all of the spiritual books that Oprah says to read. And in the early, or I guess it was late 80s, it doesn't matter. She had this guest on that wrote a book called Embraced by the Light.
Okay.
Okay. And it's a near-death experience book.
Okay.
I think the author is Edie Betty or something like that. Anyway, Embraced by the Light. And I read it, and this was like 92 or something, I guess, when I read it. And my, alcoholism is a progressive disease. It gets worse and worse. I luckily was the oldest, and so I got to leave the situation before it got really, really bad, right? But it was bad, but really bad after I left. So first of all, I was protected a little bit. I didn't live in the same town as my family. Like once Hunter and I got married, we moved out of Texas and went a lot of different places. And so the trauma and drama that my family was going through, I didn't have to deal with as closely because I wasn't there all the time. Now, once I moved to Austin, it became a big part of my life. And that's a whole other story.
Oh my gosh, Whitney, that's a lot for you to take on in light of everything that
and Hunter was the gatekeeper for me. And then the gatekeeper died and the gate was wide open.
Woof. Okay.
And it was a struggle. But again, I asked for strength. God gives me experiences to strengthen me. Anyway, I start to read this book. It's a near-death experience book. And the things in it just clicked with me. She talks about how everything is meant to teach you something. And we assume things as humans that spiritually are not true. And she told this story, and I'm going to get it wrong because I haven't read the book in a long time, but basically there were these two bright souls in heaven. One was brighter than the other, and they're going to come down and have a human experience. They're going on the study abroad program. But the brighter spirit is like, I'm going to come and assist you. He didn't really need to come, but he was like, I'm going to come and assist you. So they go down, they're living their lives. This one guy is a big attorney, and every day on the way to work, he sees this homeless person on the side. Every day for like 10 years, he's seeing this person. And I can't remember if they interact or not, but the story ends with the bright spirit was the homeless person. That was the brighter spirit who made the effort to come down and take the hardest course so that his friend could be brightened.
Wow.
And it made me look at my dad in a different way. I started thinking maybe he's the brighter spirit, because I always thought, I'm better than you. You're a loser. You can't do the things that if it were me, I would be doing. I'm judging. And all of a sudden it put this in perspective of like, I don't know. I have no idea what the plan is.
Yeah.
I have no idea whose soul is the brightest.
Yeah.
And maybe he made the sacrifice to come down here and live a very difficult life.
Yeah.
And by the way, that doesn't mean that I was supposed to suffer the way that I suffered. My mom wasn't supposed to suffer. My dad came down to teach us something and he got derailed. And so the lessons got a lot harder for the people that he loved. Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense.
So I don't feel like if someone's in a situation that is horrible and they have an alcoholic or an abuser or something, I'm not saying that was meant to be. I'm saying that there was a plan in place, but we have free will and
you have agency.
He got derailed.
Yeah.
But it just made me a little more compassionate.
Yeah.
And it made me sit back and go, well, who am I because I had an alcoholic father? What have I learned? What can I handle? And I have compassion for people with addiction because I know and love people with addiction,
Yeah.
So I had already started on a journey and done some work so that when Hunter died, that's when I had that moment of, wait, this is how I've lived my life. This is how I've said I believe. But now I'm hit with this really horrific thing. Can I still believe those things? Can I still work that way?
Yeah.
It was a conscious decision.
And how has that shaped the other relationships in your life with your children now, with the people that you work with?
Alcoholism, or what do you mean?
Just this
compassion
mindset.
part?
Yeah, this mindset. Or, with your boyfriend. How is it shaping your relationships now?
It just makes everything a little less personal. I remember right after Hunter died, it was Thanksgiving, and I was in Central Market and everyone's rushing around.
Yeah.
And I was looking around like with this wonder of like, holy shit, every person in here is a soul. Every person in here is a light, right? Like it almost blew my mind. Like I almost felt like I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
But it was also like this moment of like, oh my gosh, if I can keep this, then I can be the light that I want to be in the world, So again, not good at it.
Yeah.
Don't do it most of the time. But sometimes I have that moment of clarity. So in my relationships, I feel like I just try to focus in on you're a soul. You're here to have an experience. I get to have it with you. And if like with my boyfriend, we have conversations where I'll be like, hey, you said this, and I hate to bring it up because I'm a people pleaser, but I want us to be better. And so I need to tell you that I don't like when you do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's made me more verbal to ask for what I need.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I look at the bigger picture of I'm asking you because I want this to be the best it can be.
Because you want that connection.
Yeah, I'm asking you because I want that, like even with Hunter, being married for so long, I remember somebody told me, you get to wake up every day and look over at that person and go, today I choose to love you. Today I choose to love you. Kind of like the 12 steps, like moment to moment, day to day. Today I choose to love you. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I try to take that into my relationships now of like, okay, today I want this relationship to blossom and flourish and be the best it can be. So that means having uncomfortable conversations. That means speaking up for what I need, because resentment is the number one killer of connection. And so it's just kind of, I don't know. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. And you actually said something really, really important that I want to highlight around resentment, because I think, boy, that is so true. Resentment is the number one killer of connection. And it usually means that we have not articulated what we actually need. And to think about what you're saying, to just say it differently, is that asking for what we want and need is a way to form connection with someone.
Yeah.
It gives it a different, I think a lot of times people that are people pleasers are afraid to ask for what they want and need.
And that's been a struggle my whole life. But through this whole journey and of death and grief and looking at the world in a different way, seeing that there's a bigger picture here, I want to get the most out of everything that I possibly can. And if I'm holding back, it's ruining it.
Right.
So so I'm going to have the uncomfortable conversation, not because I'm selfish, but because I want this to blossom and grow.
Yeah.
And,
newsflash, I had a friend say this to me, and it really changed my perspective on articulating what I want and need, because I've been a very self-reliant person. And I think that that's for a myriad of reasons that we don't need to go into. But I realized that was standing in the way of connection with others. And I had a girlfriend, or I have a girlfriend who's in this like super high powered job. She's the CEO of a publicly traded company. I would never want to bother her with anything, and I was in a moment of crisis, and I reached out to her and I was like, I need help. And she was on vacation with her family. And she was like, come to me, like right now, come to me.
Oh, wow.
And I grabbed Quentin and Amelia, and we literally got on a flight that day and drove to her. And she said, listen to me. We all just want to be wanted and needed. So when you asked me for help, it made me feel good, and it made me feel closer to you. And she was like, and you gave me a chance to be needed.
Yes.
And I was like, whoa, it like changed my whole perspective.
Yeah. Cause think about it. How good do you feel when you help somebody?
Totally.
So you're taking that away from someone else by not asking.
Totally.
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to say about how it helps me in my relationships, how my view helps me in relationships, is remembering that everybody has a lens. Like everybody's wearing glasses, right?
Yeah.
And depending on their own experiences, the glasses may be lighter, they may be darker. And I know with my relationship with my boyfriend, he's divorced. That's a loss, but very different than a death.
Yeah.
And I was in a great marriage. We loved each other till the day he died, and nobody ended it.
Yeah.
Right. His experience is different. So when we would come together and interact or whatever, or have conversations, his lens was different because of his experiences. And because I recognized that, I could say, hey, I understand that you're getting defensive, but it's because you're thinking that I am the person you came from.
Yeah.
But
you're projecting that onto me.
Person.
Yeah.
Right. Take your glasses off, damn it. That's where you're coming from, but that's not what my intention is. So, I try very hard to think about, and again, I have to give Oprah all the credit. Give me a call, Oprah. She talks about intention a lot, starting the day with intention. When you have a conversation with someone, what's your intention? When I have a relationship, what's the intention? And it really does kind of bring everything in. What do I want the outcome to be here? Do I want to get into an argument? Do I want to hurt your feelings? No.
Yeah.
So how do I phrase it, or how do I work with it to get the outcome that I would like to have,
Yeah, totally.
Anyway.
By the way, I quoted Oprah this morning on a coffee date.
You did?
I did. And
what was the quote?
I once said, well, she was talking about the universe, and she's like, the universe will whisper, and they'll get a little bit louder, and they'll
push you off a cliff.
and then it'll like hit you upside the head with a brick.
Yeah.
But,
I love that one.
Yeah, but it was funny because one of my guy friends a few years ago was like, Carla, if you quote Oprah one more time, you have to get back to work. But it's just so funny.
I know, but she does have so much wisdom, and I just eat it up.
Yeah.
It's just so valuable because if you can look, we have a choice. Anything that we do, there's two sides. There's the negative and the positive. Why wouldn't you choose the positive?
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Why not?
I think what's interesting is you're talking a lot about things unfolding for us and there being a plan and a curriculum, if you will. But at the same time, you're talking about agency in it. And when I was kind of going through my own loss and my own dark night of the soul, my own spiritual journey, I was going through a period of trying to surrender because I'd always controlled everything, or so I thought.
Right.
I made things happen, or so I thought.
Right.
And Jeff and I were talking to our therapist, and I was like, I can't tell the difference between surrender and apathy. Like, when have I tipped over into apathy?
Yeah.
And he was like, how about collaborate? Can we collaborate with the universe? And I was like, okay, I like that.
Yes, I know. I have the same thing when I was reading the surrender experiment. I would think the same thing. It's like, if you have no preferences, then how do you care about anything? Like, you have to care about stuff, but you don't care about the outcome. You give your all, and then you let go of the outcome.
Yeah.
And I have had to practice that so much with my children because they've been in our control, since the day they were conceived. We've had some control. And then all of a sudden, one day, you have no control. And it would keep me up at night, worrying and stressing. And, even now, like, are they going to get a job? Well, are they going to find a partner? Like, what if they don't ever get married? Well, will they have children? Well, what about those children? I could totally go
spiral.
Oh man, so hard. And that's when you're like, you know what? Same thing with like dead dad. Like, are they going to be messed up? Like, what do I have to do? You know what? I do everything that I can, and then I let go.
Yeah.
Like I've taught you everything that I can, and now you get to decide when you use it.
Yeah.
And I'm always here for you.
Yeah.
But it's letting go of the outcome.
Yeah. And recognizing that they have their own curriculum and coursework that they signed
exactly.
up for.
I heard something
on this journey.
Yeah. I heard a psychologist, I guess, say, we think that these babies are like blank pieces of paper, and we're just like, we get to decide how, what's written for them, and we can destroy them or make them the best. No, they come in with their own lessons to learn.
Yeah.
And we do our best. But like my dad, he did the best that he could with his own hurt and struggles. And I never doubted that he loved me, but he just couldn't get out from under his addiction,
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm asking a question, which is, I just want to name up front as a projection.
Okay.
Because I've experienced loss and have been grieving for the last few years, but not nearly to the scale that you have.
Yeah.
But in terms of like job loss, career loss, empty nesting, kids moving on, just big transitions, that sort of loss. And then loss of like people that are close to me.
Right.
I've had several friends die in the last few years. And so is there a stage of grief where you kind of get a massive case of the fuck it's?
Oh yeah.
And that is kind of like the dangerous side, the side that cuts the other way, where you're like, screw everybody else. I'm just going to live life the way I want to live it because it's, and how do you kind of put some guardrails on that?
Well, I didn't. I mean, it manifests in different ways. Like some people get very promiscuous, or a lot of widows that we talk to, it's financial fuck it's. Like, fuck it, I'm just going to spend money. It's a quick hit, right? I'm going to spend money. I'm going to go do this and that and not worry about the future because the future is fucked, know? And that's when you hopefully have support around you that can kind of pull you back in. But I think that's totally normal It's funny. I did a whole stand-up routine. I called it the death comedy jam instead of death comedy jam. But I said, like, people always say, how would you live if you knew this was your last day on earth? I would be doing cocaine and like,
in the clear,
sleeping with everybody. Yeah. Like I would be going insane. I wouldn't be like, helping the sick. I would be doing all of the horrible things that I'm too afraid to do. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's funny that we look at it like that, because that to me just would make me want to do all the things that are wrong.
Yeah.
But I think it's normal to have that, but you just hopefully have support around you or find a way to pull yourself out of it, because it is in the end destructive.
Yeah.
But a lot of the widows that we talk to feel that way. And, honestly, your kids bring you back too.
Okay.
Like
I was going to be my next question.
I can't fuck this up too much because I have 3 little children that need to get to school and are grieving their father and need some joy. I can't be the one that's, driving us over the bridge, or off the bridge, which is, let's be honest. We've talked to one of my good friends who's also a widow. She had moments where she was like, it was her and her little daughter, 6 years old. And she was like, what are we doing? I should just end this for both of us.
Oh, goodness.
And luckily, she would share with people and could get some help. But it's not unusual to have those feelings.
Yeah.
And if you have it for a fleeting moment, I don't think you need psychiatric help necessarily. It's normal.
Yeah.
To have those moments.
Yeah.
But if you're in those moments more than you're not, then you need to talk to somebody.
What I love about you, Whitney, is you're a destigmatizer in the sense that like you're talking about the things that people don't talk about, and you're also normalizing the feelings. I one time shared with a friend that I was like, man, and I've said it before on the podcast, like there was a low moment where I was like, I wish I could just close my eyes and then be done with it. Like I'm not going to do anything to harm myself.
Right. But you'd be fine.
I'd be fine if I didn't wake up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And my friend was like, oh, we all want to hit the eject button every now and then.
Of course.
And then when she said that, I laughed out loud and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. It's kind of like what I was feeling.
And it's a relief. Yeah. It's like, okay, good. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we try to say on the podcast quite a bit, like, everything is normal. What's normal? Everything.
Yeah.
Everything is normal. And we even did an episode, we called it like Widow's Secrets or something. And we had people write in some of the things that they're embarrassed to share because of judgment. And, some of them are like, I resent my child because they're still here and I have to parent alone, or I went and slept with my husband's best friend after he was dead. Like every feeling has value. And as long as we can, I think the problem starts when we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And then it's festering.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I love therapy because all this that's in here gets out.
Yeah.
Because if I just have it up here all the time, I go insane.
It's exhausting.
I need to, even if the therapist says nothing, I need to lay it out. Get it out. And sometimes that can just be writing it down. I just read something the other day. There's a study, somebody did a grief study talking about journaling and how writing things down, whether you say it out loud or not, is actually very healing.
Yeah.
It is a release.
So my dad is actually doing expressive writing, so journaling for pain management. There's actually proof that it helps you deal with pain.
I believe it.
Andrew Huberman talks about the importance of journaling too. I'm a big journaler. Like
it's funny.
I basically have had a diary or journal my whole life.
Me too. And then after a certain age with the kids, I stopped. But when I was cleaning out my closet yesterday, I came across all these notebooks, and I've got ADD. So it's like I would start writing in one notebook and then I would buy another notebook. And so I literally have like 10 notebooks with like 2 or 3 pages or 10 pages. And I was thinking yesterday, I'm like, how do I get all these together? And then I thought, I'm just going to put all this in a drawer and the kids can figure it out when I'm dead. Like, I can't try to organize it, but it made me laugh. No, I think I read a study, speaking of pain management, this is kind of off topic, but they had two groups of people. One group, and each group has to stick their arm in a bucket of ice water. And the ones in one room could scream out any cuss words that they wanted. The other room could only yell out things that they saw in the room. Guess who could keep their hand in longer?
The ones that could scream whatever they wanted.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
cussing.
of course. Yeah.
And after Hunter died, I became a sailor. I literally started cussing like in front of the kids, out in public, like horribly. I still do, but I'm keeping it under control for you.
I have a total potty mouth.
But I do think that is a way to handle stress, pain, emotion. It just feels powerful.
Yeah.
The F word.
I love the F word.
Love it.
Me too.
Yeah. It's just, there's something,
the best.
There's something in it that just makes me feel good. But yeah, and this actually just circles back around to what I said in the beginning, like doing a podcast or talking. We need to talk about our grief and our loss and our issues and normalize it, because every single person in the world is going to have to deal with it on some level.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, that's what this podcast is about in a lot of ways. And it's what it's becoming. And what I am finding, and I definitely get this feedback from our audience, is that it's those crunchy bits that make people beautiful.
Yes. I was listening to the podcast with the second podcast with Sammy.
Oh, yeah.
And you were talking about how you were bullied.
Mm-hmm.
I also was bullied, red hair, freckles, buck teeth.
Oh, no,
and
sorry.
No, but what you said something, and I say it too, it's like, that was the time in my life where my personality was being developed.
Oh, big time.
And then I grew into be a beautiful woman, and I have personality. And so even in those moments where I'm like, nobody likes me, and whatever, people were mean, I'm so grateful for those crunchy bits, because it gave me so much more layers to myself, that I love.
Yeah. You probably have your sense of humor from that.
100%.
And your compassion.
Yes. And also, I will say, I was blessed. I was born with good self-esteem. Like, they would make fun of me, and I would think, you just don't know me yet. Honestly,
that's
I
amazing.
had diaries, and I never wrote about the stuff that was happening at school in my diary, which I think is so interesting.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a link to that between the fact that you see the good in people and in things, and you go to the positive.
Yeah, that is one of the gifts. We all are brought in with certain gifts and talents, and that is a gift that I was given, and I'm so grateful that I am just a positive person,
Yeah.
just regardless.
Well, Whitney, what is next for you? I know you're in the now, and I know you're not future focused, but what is next for you? What are kind of your hopes and dreams for yourself?
I guess for me, I just want to keep working on being grounded, because especially now it's just so heavy all the time, and worry can set in and stuff. So I really want to, especially now that I'm an empty nester and I have so much more free time, I need to get on a really great routine, a grounding routine. Like, I try to go out on my porch and sit there. Sometimes I write, sometimes I don't. I try to stay off my phone, but I think at least in the next near future, my goal is to get more grounded, less involved in virtual stuff, and more grounded in that connection with that higher power, and then, professionally, I just want to keep helping. I want to keep helping people, and hopefully showing them that, all is well, all will be well. You're in the shit right now, but it is just a moment, a brief moment, and try to help people that way. 'Cause it helps me.
Yeah. And everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. I saw this, painting, and I actually gave it to my sister, and all it says is, not to ruin the ending, but everything will be okay.
I love it.
And to me, my belief, that is the truth, because the study abroad program is going to end, and I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. And you've mentioned it a few times about the heaviness of everything in the world right now. What's your hope and wish for the world right now?
Compassion, less divisiveness. We are all in this together. Like I said, when I went into that Central Market and I looked around and I'm like, oh my gosh, every single person is a spirit here having an experience. We're all in this together.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've just forgotten that. You know,
Yeah.
everybody is against each other.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be good.
And we're all iterations of each other.
Mm-hmm.
We really are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's in Buddhism or what faith it's in, but we're all like droplets of water from the same ocean.
Yeah. Yeah. And so many droplets are forgetting.
And it's a small minority. I think that's the other thing that we have to remind ourselves.
Yes.
Is it's a very small minority, which is driving the polarization. But if my hypothesis is that we all ultimately want the same things.
I think that is so true, but I worry about this 24/7, information
Media
that's
blitz.
feeding. I have to tell my kids all the time, I'm blessed that they talk to me about stuff, but they'll say certain things to me and I have to say, you're in an algorithm.
God, that's so true. I say this all the time.
Yeah. You need to step out of that algorithm.
Yeah.
Like, you need to follow this person, follow that person.
Yeah.
Like my feed is like soul stuff, positive stories, uplifting. Like that's what I want to feed.
Yeah.
What is that phrase? Energy goes where attention flows, or energy goes where attention flows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or energy flows. Let's start again.
There we go. Try this again.
Energy flows where attention goes.
Yeah.
We are putting our attention on the wrong things.
Yeah. Be careful what you click on, because that's what you're going to get served up.
Yeah. It's all an algorithm.
Totally. I couldn't agree more. I'm always talking about it on this podcast, by the way, in terms of like train your algorithm.
Yeah. It sucks that we have to think like that. Like, because I love to get on and just scroll around and have some fun or whatever. But then I start getting a million ads for hair loss.
Yeah, totally. And perimenopause and protein.
I'm like, I get it.
Stop with the protein
I'm
supplements.
Old. I'm losing my hair. I don't need to see any more ads about it.
Yeah. No more facelift ads, please. No more facelift.
Although our phones are listening now, so I'm
now
sure
we
I'll
have
get
to
a
redo
few.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, girl. Well, I am so grateful you're next door to me. I couldn't have designed it any better.
It's so awesome. No coincidences. And we need to spend more time together.
Yes.
But thank you for having me on. I love what you're doing. And I just feel so energized after talking to you.
I'm so touched by that.
You.
I do too. We need to spend more time together. That's my main
What the
takeaway.
hell?
Why are we not hanging out all the time?
Exactly.
We both have time now.
It's so true.
All right,
Awesome.
babe. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Love you too. Thank y'all for listening today. If you're so inclined, please follow, subscribe, download, share, all of the things so that we can keep going. We appreciate your support so much. If you're interested in learning more, go to thecoeffect.co.